Hi, my name's Jonathan Hicks. I'm back at the Dice Cup, and this evening I'm joined by
A-Bomb.
Tim.
And we've just finished playing Food Chain Magnate, where essentially you're running your own fast food empire, really. So you kind of start with one. This is you. You're the CEO of your organisation, and as you go through the game, you can acquire more staff. So you can get some. In this case, I've got a couple of VPs, but you sort of start off by hiring basic managers, if you like, and then under the managers you can hire various types of staff. But it starts off with very basic types. So, for example, you have this kitchen trainee who can produce a burger or a pizza, and eventually you can kind of train people up to become like a pizza chef who will produce 8 pizzas. So you have a bunch of different resources here that represent the different types of food and drink that you can potentially produce. And then much of the action takes place on this map of the city, if you like. So I was this Santa Maria pizza restaurant here, you can see. And there are various houses around, and you're trying to sell to the houses. But one key mechanism in the game is that you can't, or at least the houses don't want to buy any fast food until you advertise to them. So you're going to need something like, I had this brand director here, or you can have a sort of basic marketing person at the start. But you need to advertise in various ways. So you could stick a billboard down. So you stick a billboard here, then the house next to it is then going to want whatever you decide to advertise. So I might decide to advertise some pizza, for example. And then when you produce your pizzas, as my pizza chef does, then because this house is next to my pizza restaurant, they're going to try and buy the pizzas off me. So you then get money for selling the various different types of food. But one important point is how far away you are. So you see there are other restaurants here as well. So if I put my billboard maybe over here and advertise to this house, then that's quite a long way from my restaurant. And it might be that there are other restaurants, like this one or this one, which are closer. So how far away you are matters. Effectively, the closest one and the cheapest one is going to be able to sell their food. Now, the objective of the game is to try and make as much money as you can. There's a certain amount of money in the bank, and when it runs out, you count up, and whoever has the most wins. But in terms of actually how you play the game and take turns, as it were, each round you have to assemble your structure. So you can change your structure. So some people you're going to decide to put into place here, and some people, like all these people over here, you send to the beach, supposedly. And while they're at the beach, the trainers can train them up. So having decided on what your structure is and who's gone to the beach, you then kind of activate each of your employees one at a time who are going to do various different things. So the trainer, for example, I might be able to train up my kitchen trainee into some kind of cook who can then produce more pizza. So you run through all these doing that. Then the marketing campaigns, they happen last, don't they? So you then sell the pizzas and the drinks to the various people, and then the marketing campaigns kind of add the extra demand to the various things. So there's different kinds of marketing campaigns as well. We had this radio tower in the middle here, which was making everybody want pizza. So when the radio tower kind of kicks in, you end up putting lots of pizza on all the houses round about. So there's some interesting ways of marketing to certain segments of the board here. And then you just keep going essentially until you get to the end. Whoever has the most money wins. All right, what do we think?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I really like the game. Like the artwork. You look at it and you think, oh yeah, it's sort of medium Euro. There's a massive amount of strategy to the game. The game is set up where you can try and decide how long it will be. You know, you might go for a very quick turnaround, trying to get the money, try and break the bank very quickly, or you might say, no, I'm going to build a massive empire of staff. You've got the marketing where you can go, okay, I know they're producing lots of pizza, okay, I'll market them to want some Coke. And suddenly they can't sell to them because you have to fulfill all demands for a place at the same time. Because the marketing happens the turn after, you actually get to see that. You see people are suddenly training up sort of pizzas, cooks or burger cooks to know which direction it's going. There's also milestones, which once they've gone, unless you get them the same turn as everyone else, they sort of disappear out of the game. And they make a massive impact. So you're almost like from the very start having to try and work out what you're doing. The only downside I'd say to it is that normally in the game, as turns go on, they get more and more important. In this, the first few turns are massively important. It's as important as the turns at the end because you really need to get your strategy right. But yeah, it's a great game.
Okay, I'll perhaps just explain the milestones briefly because I didn't mention them earlier. But for example here, whoever produces the first pizza will get an extra pizza cook for free. So these little bonuses you get for hitting these milestones, as A-Bomb was saying, can be really important. Tim?
I love this game. It's so interactive and so thematic. Like
you're watching the cards that people are buying, so you're trying to work out what their strategy is going forward in turns, and also you're trying to cut people off on the map because either everyone buys everything that they want or they don't leave their houses at all. So you can, like everyone says, advertise a Coke and block someone who's got an army of pizza chefs and kitchen trainees making pizza that they were hoping to sell the next turn, and they won't be able to do that. It's just got... I love the theme of like the 50s Americana theme is amazing as well, and lots of people complain about the artwork in it, but I think it's really thematic and fits the theme. I think it's a brilliant game. The only problem with it is it has got a massively steep learning curve for people who haven't played it before.
Rating?
9.
Okay. Abel?
8.5.
Okay. Yeah, well, just mention before I give you my opinion, they have this really helpful player aid, I suppose, which lists the turn order on the front in terms of the various things you do on your turn. But in the middle here, this is like the training structure, I guess. So if you start with a management trainee, you can train them up to a junior vice president, and then they could become a discount manager or something. But you really do need this, and there's lots of different staff you can hire. You know, there's a few, if we just look over there, you can see there's an army of cards in terms of different types of staff. So there's lots of different variation in terms of different strategies you can take, which is really nice. Yeah, I had a great time. Really enjoy this one. It's so satisfying, sort of hiring the different people and then assembling them in your sort of staff management system. Abon went for a very flat system with very few managers. Tim went for, what was he called? The executive vice president, who can have 10 people working under him, and he just had hordes of employees. But you have to pay your employees. So you have to think carefully about, do I really want so many employees? It is very tricky in terms of the strategy, working out if I make this many pizzas, will I actually be able to sell to them, as the other guys have been talking about? And that gives you lots to think about, which is really nice. Personally, I don't like the artwork. It is very thematic in terms of, I think they've done it well, but it just, the whole thing feels a little bit like playing a prototype, to be honest. The little wooden components for the different types, these are great. I really like these. But in terms of the board and even the cards, just feel a bit cheaper. So I don't think the component quality is great personally. But as Tim says, some people do like that, other people not so much. I'm just one who's not so keen on it. But in terms of the game, I think the game is fantastic. It simulates running a business really well. And though there is a steep learning curve because of the the big structure of different employees, you can have the rest of it, and all the different milestones. There's loads of different milestones. Working out which one's the best one to get. It's very hard to know what to do the first time you play. But once you've played it once, it's great, super satisfying. I think I'd be on an 8.5 out of 10. All right, thanks for watching. That was Food Chain Magnate.